Phelps, Bukowski, you have a new case. 2 women, possible drink drive.
How is that a case?
The broad says she was doped and that somebody tried to kill her.
Where did this take place?
That's the bit you're gonna love. Right across the street.
What?
A Chevy Styline took a nosedive off the escarpment, fetched up underneath a Cola King billboard. Up to it, boys. We got bad guys to catch.
The thing was, he was a really nice guy. I felt lousy collaring him.
See you later, fellers. Try not to work too hard.
Look at you dancing with the girl. Brings a tear to my eye watching my caterpillar grow wings.
I'm just trying to fit in.
Educated, hardworking, straight as an arrow. I hate to break it to you, Cole, but you'll never fit in at Central.
Just need a cop they've been talking about on the radio? Want another accommodation?
That price is outrageous. Goddamn Bruins are having a season from hell.
Her face looks familiar.
Well, that's June Ballard, Tarzan's sister, Beast of the Amazon. She's married to Guy McAfee. The captain has moved to Vegas now, but the 2 of them still have juice.
Phelps, traffic.
Detective Phelps. Hey, Bukowski. Long time no see.
You could have called this in by megaphone, Enrique. Phelps, this is Enrique Gonzalez. Enrique was a pretty decent middleweight.
What do we have, Gonzalez?
Broad drives right through the empty lot and off the side of the escarpment. Her story is that a movie producer doped her and her friend and sent the car over the cliff.
Was anyone hurt?
Driver's beat up. Not too bad considering. If she hadn't hit that billboard, we'd be scraping both of them off the pavement. Passenger's a Jessica Hamilton. She's just a kid. She's pretty knocked around.
Kid gonna be all right?
I think so. They've taken her to central receiving. If you want to take a look around, I can stall the ambulance.
Thanks. Do that.
One more thing. Watch out for the driver. She cuts rough.
Hey! Out of the way, bub!
If you're looking for the coroner, he's down by the crash site.
You'll want to see this, Phelps. There, laid out on the trunk. And that isn't even the best part.
They've been torn off. Where did you find them?
They were stuffed in the young lady's handbag. I'll run a trace for semen when I get back to the lab.
She's a long way from home. Drunk driver?
Maybe not.
How so?
Well, a head I found without a body piqued my interest. See what you think.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. Is it real?
No. I think it's supposed to be a replica of an Indian shrunken head. It's some kind of curio or movie prop. See the casting marks?
What's it made from?
Plaster of Paris would be my first guess, then painted.
So we can rule out the murder angle?
No, you can rule that in. That thing was wedging the accelerator to the floor. Whoever did it wanted these women dead.
How does someone manage to tip their ride straight off a cliff? If the driver's in a fit state, we should ask.
It looks like they're lucky they weren't more badly injured.
Must have been unconscious. Being relaxed tends to lessen the soft tissue damage. You catch all the good ones, Phelps.
Advice?
How does someone manage to tip their ride straight off a cliff? If the driver's in a fit state, we should ask.
Mrs. McAfee, we would like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
I prefer to use my maiden name, June Ballard. You might be familiar with some of my work.
Can you tell us what happened here?
You're kind of cute for a cop. Maybe a bit on the serious side.
What about me, June? I'm a big fan of Beast of...
I don't like. Keep out of this.
We understand that you're still suffering from the effects of the accident, Mrs. McAfee. The officer says that you claimed that you were drugged. Who did this to you?
That rat slipped us a Mickey Finn. It's no wonder I feel so dopey. I can't remember.
It's a serious offense to withhold information from the police during a criminal investigation, madam.
I told you to call me June. You're making me feel like an old lady. And don't bother your handsome head about this. My husband will settle the score with Mark Bishop.
What can you tell us about the passenger in your car?
Jessica Hamilton. Poor Jessica. It's been a rough day for her. She's desperate to break into movies. What more can I say?
I think you're lying, Mrs. McAfee. I think something happened to Jessica yesterday before the crash.
I'm offended, Sunshine. Do you have any proof?
Miss Hamilton's underwear were physically torn from her body.
She wanted to go to a casting. I took her to a casting. Whatever happened after that is between her and Mark Bishop.
We found a shrunken head. It was used to tamper with your car.
You see, I normally don't drive off cliffs. The last thing I remember is getting behind the wheel.
It's obviously some kind of movie prop. You must know where it came from.
In case you hadn't noticed, I am the talent. And the talent doesn't deal with props or sets or any of that kind of stuff. Why don't you ask Mark Bishop which prop house he uses?
You mentioned a Mark Bishop. You think he might have had something to do with this?
He's a movie producer. As for his involvement, you just leave it to me and my husband to worry about.
I want to know what happened between you two that made him want to commit a double murder.
Bishop offered me a part in his picture. Then he withdrew it. Fact is, we had a deal. I pressed him on it, and this is where I end up.
Mrs. McAfee, I think it would be in everyone's best interest if you accompanied Patrolman Gonzalez back to the receiving hospital.
I'm going to be okay. These guys can take me home after. My lawyer and I have talked to the news hounds.
Mrs. McAfee, you are still under the influence of narcotics, and you're likely to go into shock once the drugs wear off.
And I thought you were a heel. It's nice of you to be concerned.
I think we're good here. Let's go see what we can shake out of the kid.
You can drive. Hello, Detective Phelps, here to interview a Jessica Hamilton.
Jessica Hamilton. Oh, yes. She's in the room right behind you, Detective.
You can't hold me here. No!
Feeling better since this morning, Jessica?
By a doctor. I need my lawyer. My head still feels swollen. Where is the telephone?
Hello, Jessica. My name is Cole Phelps. I'm a policeman. I'd like to talk to you about your accident, if that's okay.
Okay.
Can you tell me what you remember about the crash?
It's all kind of fuzzy. I remember waking up here. Nothing happened yesterday.
You're holding out on me, Jessica.
Please, I want my doctor. I'm not sure I can answer any more questions right now.
We need to get in touch with your parents, Jessica, to tell them what has happened.
Oh, you don't need to worry them. They sent me along to stay with Aunt June. They trust her to take care of me.
You're lying, Jessica. How are we going to make this right if you lie to us?
Please, Detective, why would I lie to you? Can't you just let me rest?
How did you meet Mr. Bishop?
Well, Junie is a big movie star. You probably know that. She's doing a new movie.
Doctor, I can speak with right this minute.
Is this the way to the maternity ward?
What's the story with Bishop and Mrs. McAfee? Why does he want the two of you dead?
That can't be true. Mr. Bishop seemed very happy today. I mean, yesterday.
And that's why he wedged a shrunken head against the accelerator pedal and punted the two of you over an escarpment?
I overheard Junie speaking to him on the phone a couple of times. Screaming, really. She can be very hard sometimes, Junie. But they seemed okay yesterday, like they worked it out.
I know what happened to you, Jessica. Where exactly did it take place?
Please, it's scary. It's really difficult to think of anything.
Has there been an accident?
Mind if I tap a nod while I wait?
Someone tried to kill you, Jessica. Do you get it? Forget about being in movies. It's time to act like a grown-up.
I had to wear a robe and lay down on a stone. There were lights, a camera. It's not my fault. I'm not a bad girl. Why are you trying to hurt me?
You should think about going home, Jessica. You're getting mixed up with people who will treat you like last week's trash.
Are you crazy? I can't go home. I want to be a star.
What? It's the tale of this town, Cole. Lambs that go willingly to slaughter. Who the hell is that?
Must be her lawyer. He certainly expedited her release.
I don't like it, Cole. Why is she in such a hurry? We should follow her. There she goes. Come on.
Ballard is definitely up to something. She seems to have made a remarkably speedy recovery.
That's it, we're spotted. Back off. Hey, back off.
Get in there and see what she's up to.
You call these grits?
Baby? No! I don't want him taught a lesson. You know what I want. Well, then make someone else do it! You still know people out here, don't you? Then make some calls! I'm gonna be very clear about this. You get this done, or I'm... Wilson's Hotel. Mr. Mark Bishop, that son of a bitch, lives in apartment 803. Sure, I got the film.
You're behind the wheel.
So what's the story?
I'm Detective Phelps. We received a call about a domestic disturbance in apartment 803.
Oh, the detectives. Listen, Mrs. Bishop's pretty upset. Take the elevator and then left down the corridor. It's the last door on the right.
Sounds like we're about to make it a hat trick of hysterical female witnesses.
LAPD, ma'am. Are you in danger?
I'm all right now. You just missed them. Horrible, awful men.
Are you injured, Mrs.?
Mrs. Bishop. Gloria Bishop. Please, come in, officers. I'll just need to sit down for a moment. Forgive me.
That's perfectly normal, ma'am.
Just look at this mess!
We'll take a quick search of the premises, ma'am. You take a moment to gather your thoughts.
I will. Thank you, officer.
It doesn't appear to be connected. Junk. What do you have to do to earn $20,000? Presented to Mark.
I don't think this is going to help us.
Great Wall of Babylon. A replica of a replica.
Doesn't give me anything to go on. Looks like a mermaid in the background. Silver screen.
Who are these men in the picture?
My husband, Mark, and Marlon Hopgood. They work together on occasion. That's Hopgood's shop.
Not much help. There's the set. Hollywood's own little piece of Babylon.
Those men, I think they work for Guy McAfee. Do you know the name?
No. Why should I?
June Ballard is married to Guy McAfee. Have you heard of her?
That slut. She's been badgering my husband for days.
Mrs. McAfee alleges that your husband tried to kill her and her friend last night. I think you should tell us what you know.
My husband's a movie producer. This has something to do with his new picture. He doesn't include me in his business.
June Ballard said she had a deal to be in his new picture.
Mark repeatedly told her no. He had Joan Leslie lined up for the role. That's how he got the finance. June made all kinds of threats. She was very rude to me.
You know June Ballard?
We were both on the same picture a few years back. That's how I met my husband.
Where can we find your husband, ma'am?
He told me he would be on set. That's all I know.
Either we find him or McAfee's people do, Mrs. Bishop. If you care for him, you should make sure that we find him first.
I do care for him, but I don't really know where he'd go if he were in trouble. Hopgood might know.
Why is your husband paying Lorna Hopgood $20,000?
Lorna? Marlon's ex-wife? Are you sure?
Your husband looks like he's being blackmailed. They obviously have something on him if he's prepared to kill to cover it up. Why is the payment going to Hopgood and not McAfee?
Lorna works at a check-cashing place in Hollywood. You need to ask Hopgood why he needs that much money in cash.
Your husband is in trouble. It could go easier for him if you were more helpful, Mrs. Bishop.
He's a big boy, Detective, and so are you. This is Hollywood.
There's always a deal to be done.
Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
I need a location on a silver screen prop store.
Just a moment. Silver Screen Props, corner 3rd and Figueroa.
Thank you.
An aging movie star, a wannabe starlet, and movie producer's wife. They're finally rubbing shoulders with the almost rich and famous.
And from the stories they've given us, clearly none of them can act. You know the way. You can drive.
Mrs.
Phelps and Bukowski, LAPD. We're investigating the attempted murder of June Ballard and Jessica Hamilton.
Christ! I'm Marlon Hopgood. How can I help?
You hold castings here?
How'd you hear about that? I got a little soundstage out back.
Lead the way. Keep him here, Stefan. I'm gonna take a look around.
What's this got to do with me?
Don't try my patience, knucklehead.
Doping a 15-year-old kid and abusing her in a screen test. What is wrong with these people? Turn off the lights, Hopgood.
Why would I want to do that?
Humor him.
One-way mirrors. There's a room on the other side.
Huh. Well, well. Find a way into that peep den, Phelps. I'll stay here and keep our pervert company. It can't be that way, Phelps. You couldn't fit a rat through there.
So what happened to the film of Hamilton's screen test?
Jungle Drums, 8th and Francisco. Attention, Mark Bishop.
I wonder if they saw this, how many budding starlets would still get on the bus to come to Hollywood.